Hi guys, welcome to Bundu Fundi. My name is Murray and we are sitting in a bird hide at the COOLPIX Crane Conservancy in the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands of South Africa. For more videos, remember to subscribe to this channel and click on notifications so that you know when the next ones are here. Where will you find the African darter? What is the distribution of the African darter? Well, you'll find it through most of sub-Saharan Africa. Madagascar has a population of them, and further afield, southern Iraq, for example. There are parts of South Africa which don't normally have African darters, and interestingly, there's an increasing population of African darters in the southern Drakensberg of KwaZulu-Natal. And the population is increasing because of the exotic fish, the trout and so on, that are now found in the rivers, which the darter thoroughly enjoys eating, and so it's taking over a new area that there wouldn't have been so many birds previously. Now when it comes to breeding, African darters are what we call monogamous. That means that they partner with one partner for life. Breeding takes place in colonies of between 10 or even up to 50 birds. The nests will be built by both the male and the female. The male will go out and collect the nesting material, the twigs and the dry sticks and sometimes reeds, gives them to the female, and the female actually lays the nest. Not a great builder, really just a platform of sticks. They usually finish building the nest in about a day, but then right through incubation of an egg, they'll continue to add twigs to their platform nest. Of course, when you're building nests in a colony of other African darters that are also trying to build a nest, it's always easier just to steal your neighbor's nesting material. So when the African darter is building its nest, there's always one bird left at the nest just to guard from the neighbors who might want to steal nesting material. Now the birds will lay between 2 and 3 or even up to 7 eggs over a season at intervals. It takes on average around about 22 days for those eggs to hatch. Now if ever you get to watch the African darter hunting, you'll notice very often they go into the water quite quietly without creating too many ripples, and as they swim, just the neck and the head will be above water, and hardly any ripples at all. They don't necessarily swim very fast, but the long neck is very specifically designed to be able to thrash out and catch whatever prey it's busy hunting at the time. The African darter's food is mainly made up of aquatic life, mostly fish, but occasionally also frogs. It has a very pointed spear-like beak, and sometimes it will even impale the fish on that beak. So it uses its beak to spear the fish in the water. Some of the fish it will eat under the water, while sometimes it will fly off with its prey. What makes the African darter quite unique in the way that it hunts is that when it swims in the water, most often all you'll see above the water is its neck and its head. The rest of the body will be right under the water, and then it will dive from there and it will disappear under the water for a while and then come up again. You'll just see its neck and its head. And of course, with a long pointy beak and the long neck, it does look a little bit like a snake, so that's why it's called a snake bird. Now we've said that this bird swims deeper in the water, which aids its hunting. It's a very successful hunter. The question is, how is this bird adapted? How is it designed to swim deeper in the water? And there's some wonderful adaptations that this bird has. Now firstly, the body feathers of the African darter are not water resistant. That means that they get heavy with water. You can imagine that if the feathers were all water resistant, it would float a lot higher in the water. Because the body feathers are able to absorb water, the bird is able to sit deeper in the water. The flight feathers, the feathers on the wings, they are water resistant. And what it means is that when the bird has been in the water for a while, it can actually take off and fly to its nearest perch, where it will try and dry out a little bit. Of course, one of the downsides about having body feathers that are not water repellent is that the bird tends to get cold, so it can't stay in the water for long periods of time, and you also won't find it in very cold water. So you'll usually find it in more subtropical areas. So the water absorbent nature of the body plumage will make the bird heavier, more dense in the water. It will sit a bit lower in the water. The other reason why the darter is able to sit lower in the water is because of its bone structure. Let's chat for a moment about the bone structures of birds. Obviously, birds need to be light. They need to have a light structure in order to be able to fly. One of the factors that makes a bird's bones lighter is that they're not created solid, but they're actually what we call pneumatized. That means that they are almost like a honeycomb pattern of crevices and grooves and little hollows that makes it a lot lighter than if it were a solid bone. That would be particularly evident on, say, the breastbones of many flying birds. Now, one of the characteristics of the African darter is that the bones are less pneumatized than many other kinds of birds. That means that there's less gaps between the bones are denser, and as a result, the bird is in fact heavier. It sits lower in the water while it's hunting. It's just another adaptation that makes it more effective in its hunting techniques. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed learning more about the African darter. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. The southern darter's the southern darter. Different bird altogether. There's a southern darter.
Species. We're the first to film it ever.
The African darter is a bird that flies. The southern darter's southern darter.